Good morning, everyone. Good morning in the east. Good morning in the west. No, that's not going to be the case. I'm in Belgium, Sankt Vith. The most of you know me probably. I'm Carl. I am actually in the sourdough library, and I'm here to talk with my guest, Yohan Ferrant from actually today he's in Spain. He's always in Spain, that doesn't matter. I'll hope you understand us loud and clear. Maybe you can raise a little thumb in the comments so that we can see that, if everything is technically working. And so thank you for your patience for this little delay, but I think the content we will deliver to you will be interesting to listen to. If you have questions, just drop them in the comment box. We will try to handle them at the end of the chat between Yohan and myself. And so we will answer the most of them. If we run out of time, we will still take the time to answer these questions further in the comments, or maybe we use even another live moment to answer these questions. There might be some things that we do not know, so forgive us already up front if we don't know the answers. But thank you for listening. We are not going to wait any longer. So let's now go to the more official part, and let me introduce you to Yohan. Yohan is a friend of mine that I know already for a couple of years. He recently wrote a book called Oh La La, an amazing book. Perhaps he has it there next to him so he can show it. And well, Yohan, thank you very much for accepting my invitation to have this chat with me. So I'm turning back to you, and so tell everyone, I know you, but tell everyone who you are and what you do and where you are.
Hi, hello everybody. Well, my name is Yohan Ferrant. I'm actually French, but living in Spain for more than 15 years now. I was traveling around the world when I started baking in France. Then I was very curious, so I started to travel around the world. Passionate about baking, sourdough, mainly everything in the baking process. And now I have a school. I mean, it's not my school, but I'm a director of a school in Barcelona, in Sabadell, exactly. And from here, then I teach about 1,500 students a year, which is a lot of future baker. So I hope so. And I'm also the coach of the Spanish national team for the Mondial du Pain, the best of, which we're gonna talk with Carl. I have also my sourdough in the bibliothèque in Saint-Vith, so it's a great honor, and we will speak about that later. And I was also the French candidate for the French team for the Mondial du Pain, and that's it. And I wrote a book which is Oh La La. I don't have it on me right now, but I'm guessing if you are going in my profile, you can have a lot of content about it, and that's it. I just would like to thank Carl for the presentation of mine, and let's enjoy this interview.
All right. So without further wait, you were talking that you have been participating to the Mondial du Pain, which took place in Japan this year. Can you shortly explain what the Mondial du Pain is, and what have you been doing there? What was your experience in Japan?
Well, for the experience was amazing, because it was the first time, because I was the French candidate, but I was also the Spanish coach. So it was the first time in the history of baking that we had one coach and one candidate at the same time in the same competition. And Japan, it's not the first time for me that I'm going to Japan. It's the third or the fourth time, because I already gave a master class over there. Well, the experience was amazing, actually. We had a lot of problem because of the ingredients. The ingredient we had to to send the ingredient from Spain to Japan. Japanese government stopped the ingredient. We couldn't use our own pressure. But after after a few days, we could take our luggage, and then we could make the competition. The competition was actually amazing because as you know now, competition in bakery, it's not very famous. There is not a lot of people that knows about it. Mondial du Pain is I think is one of the hardest, the toughest competition in the world, because it's all about transmission. So you are with an apprentice, and you have to touch all the modules of baking, which is artistic showpieces, sourdough, nutritional bread, which Belgium won in this year during the Mondial and the best of. And actually, you have two different competitions. First of all, it's the Mondial du Pain that you can go to Nantes in France, and it's each 2 years. And the six best team of the world are qualified to go to the best of Mondial du Pain, which take place in Japan. This year was in Japan, but next year or in 2 years, we don't know actually where it's gonna be. And the experience is crazy, it's amazing, because to me, for me, it was the first time that I could feel what is to be a trainer winning something, and one is what is to be a candidate winning something. And I believe that baking is an international process. There is no border in baking. So for me, I was very happy to be with two flags. It was hard because you know how it is. You must represent your country, but you must also represent your love country. I'm married. I've got 2 kids. I'm living in Spain. So for me, it's very, very, very important to represent Spain as well as a baker. And I think to have to have two countries in the heart and representing.
Okay. First of all, where did you end it in the championship? With the Spanish team and with the French team?
Yeah, very hard, because during the COVID, we couldn't do the best of. Logically, the best of has to take place in Peru. So actually, the Ambassador du Pain, they made the Mondial. They made 2 editions at the same times, and it was the third best of Mondial du Pain and for the Mondial du Pain, and also being the candidates from the 7 Mondial du Pain that I was in 2019. So I was a day with both teams. It was crazy, but very, very happy.
Were you satisfied with the results of the teams?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, this is very hard for me. I mean, probably I still cannot. I mean, in 4 years we made 4 time podium. So we made a third, second, third. Second and third. So yeah, I'm very, very, very satisfied. Mainly because between the first and the third, logically in the podium, it's very, very few details, and I'm very happy with the results. First time for someone that can be in the podium with 2 different countries, so I'm very, very happy about that.
Okay. Now, another question, but it's more about the school. So you're the director of the school for how many years now? Director of a bakery school. How has this changed or influenced your approach towards baking?
You can be a very good baker, and you can have a lot of talent. But when you are teaching to people, you have the transmission is probably the most important thing. So the new approach that I have let's say to show, it's how to give new information to people. Also, you have to learn a lot, because if you want to give to people, you have to learn first, and then you have to give the information. And also, for me, it was also a good way to invite people like you, Carl, to speak, because you came at school, and a lot of other people or technical bakers, to show how we can process this kind of bread, this kind of viennoiserie. I mean, as a director, you have to open your mind. And to me, yeah, my approach to baking was always the same: quality, sourdough, good viennoiserie, but technically wasn't the most wasn't the most difficult part. The most difficult part was the transmission, because everybody's different. You have to teach people in a different way, and yeah, the approach is about the transmission. Now it's when I have a know-how, a knowledge, I have to give it, I have to share it, and this is my new approach, let's say.
Yeah. How many students do you have in average in one training course?
One training course, it's about we make private classes as we make public classes, and we make also both at the same time. So we can be 4 or 5 people till 50 people. So it's very yeah, the number, how capacity, the full capacity of our school a day, maybe 120 people. But when I teach myself, I prefer have a reduced group. It's better for me to teach, and it depends if we make a big master class, like when you came, Carl, it was about yeah, I think it was about almost 40 people. So it depends about the class you're gonna give, actually.
Okay. What is the project that you are recently working on in the school? Is there anything special you are doing or preparing?
Yes, actually, the school is gonna be bigger now, because our capacity, we have so many students, so many demands, than our capacity is getting small now. So we're gonna open a new not a new school, but a new room, a special room for private classes, and also for more specifically for people that are interested in technical sourdough, technical viennoiserie. We're gonna have a special room for, let's say, special guests.
Okay.
Which is very, very important for us.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's move now to your sourdough. I have your sourdough here. I might take it. Your little Magistral.
My baby.
Your little Magistral.
Yes.
It's number 67 in the collection. I'm very happy that I have it here. So what can you tell us about Magistral? A little bit the story, or what can you share?
Yeah. Well, I think you know more than me about it, because you studied it already, and you have all the information about that. Well, the story was as a baker, after traveling after my 2 or 3 years of baking, I was always I fall in love, let's say, with cereal. Let's say with mainly with hard wheat, more than hard wheat, or hard grain than soft grain. And to me, I wanted to create sourdough mainly with hard wheat. And after my apprenticeship in sourdough, then when I started to know how to handle a sourdough correctly, then after a few years, and when I came to Spain, so I decided to visit a lot of miller. And we have a very, very, very small miller in Spain, in Guadalajara exactly. His name, the company name is Despelta, and this is a guy. This is an agricultor that I don't know how you say that in English. Sorry. That grow. Yes, sorry. That grow hold wheat, and there weren't a lot of people at that times that make bread with it. And he told me, yeah, I've got this kind of wheat, this kind of wheat, and this kind of wheat, and I've got one. This is a Florencia Aurora. And so this wheat, I say, oh, Florencia Aurora. To me, it sounds has a Florence Aurore, like the one invented by Raoul Lemaire in 63 or 66, back in the time when the industrial wheat was the big competitor of biological wheat. So I tried to I took 5 kilo of this wheat. Well, he made it, so it was flour already. So it's a TAT because it is a stone ground flour. And then I start to realize the impact of the flavor, not only on the sourdough, but also the bread. So we will speak about that later. And as I work mainly on chain wheat, I also believe that stiff, not that stiff, but let's say 55-60% hydration sourdough, in my case, for example, work much more better for this kind of whole wheat. So yeah, basically the story was falling in love with the wheat and trying to make from this wheat a sourdough and from this sourdough breads with on-chain wheat.
Okay.
And now you have it, Carl.
Well, I have it. I am not going to talk too much about it because all the information is available on the website. So I invite people to go to the questforsourdough.com, and there is the link to the virtual library. And when they enter the virtual library, they can actually search for your sourdough, or they can just enter the sourdough number, which is 67, if you are looking for it, and then you can see which kind of yeasts, which kind of lactic acid bacteria are present in Yohan's sourdough. And on the Quest for sourdough itself on the website, if you look on the map, Yohan's sourdough is also there with the full explanation of what Yohan just did. Just a quick question in the meantime. To go back to the school, do you have any international students, Yohan?
Yeah, actually we are working with a lot of students from, it's very easy when you speak in Spanish, it's a bit the same way than you speak in English. We have a lot of people from America Latina, from South America. We also have people from United States, more on the East Coast, on the South, like Miami and everything. Everybody that's speaking Spanish is welcome, of course. And we do also international classes where they speak in English. We speak in English also. So yeah, we receive a lot of international bakers over there. Yeah, I mean students.
All right. When you are using your sourdough, what is for you what is it doing to the bread? What is the little extra that this sourdough is bringing or not bringing to the bread when you bake with it?
Well, as I told you, it first of all it will depend the bread I will work with. I mean the wheat. For me, sourdough is very important as the wheat is important, because to me, my philosophy is wheat first, sourdough second, and then bread is the main combination of both, and fermentation, of course. What bring my sourdough? That's a good question. Actually, I'm not a nutritionist. We already made some. So I will speak about that later. We made some analysis about what this sourdough can make to our bread. So we know about it a bit more inside the bread. But I will give you a straight answer. I think this is a beauty of everything: beauty of flavor, beauty of structure, crust. Smell is crazy.
How would you
it's
describe,
very.
how would you describe
the flavor?
How would you describe the flavor? Yeah, you're French from origin. French can always use nice words to describe wines. How would you do that for bread?
I think if I have a flavor to give, it will be cannelle.
Can you repeat that?
Canela.
Canela.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I have something very special with this sourdough. Yeah, definitely. And it's not because I'm French or Spanish or whatever, but this is true that we have a lot of people that that saying that actually. It smells very sweet. You know, I think this is because it's a hard wheat. And I mean, this is a hard wheat because it's a flour sour, and the way the agricultor is growing it, and the sourdough. I mean, this is a perfect match, and this is something. I mean, this is probably one of before my favorite bread was baguette, and it's still baguette is an amazing bread, and I have to respect it and everything. But still, I start to understand the concept of sourdough. Yeah, this Lorenzo rice is my favorite right now. There is no doubt about that.
All right.
I have it everywhere in my kitchen. In the morning, a good slice, with a bit of olive oil or butter or whatever, with the coffee. It's amazing, yeah.
You're making me hungry, Yohan.
Yeah. I know.
You're making me hungry. You mentioned that you are convinced that sourdough has some nutritional benefits when you make bread. Can you elaborate a bit more on that?
Yeah, actually, first, I would like to speak about I don't know, IG. So in English is a glycemic index.
Glycemic index, the GI.
Yeah. So yeah, we also the pH, but the pH is very relative. Yeah, because it can be you can have probably one of the, let's say you can have a 4.3 we everybody know about pH right now. Everybody have the information about pHs, but I would recommend first, before I speak about nutrition, if you know about wheat or ancient wheat, the most important way is work like maybe not full integral, but maybe like a TAT, like a half whole meal wheat. So I know that we have the acid phytic, which is the acid phytic, which can be something very good, because with the degradation, because of the sourdough, the sourdough will create enough protease, which is some enzyme that will definitely cut those bad sugar or those acid phytic, and this acid phytic actually will turn on vitamin, minerals, vitamin E, K, and everything. And we did find that in our result of the analysis. So the most important part for me, it's the mineral, the vitamins, the oligo element, also with the salt, because we speak also a lot about enzyme, bacteria, which will give you definitely will turn this sugar in mineral and this sugar in vitamins, but we don't speak that much about the salt. And now I use also a special salt that will give me a bit more concept as a mineral bread.
So what salt are you using then?
I use an Himalaya one. Himalaya?
Himalaya.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's a pink salt.
The pink salt from the Himalaya.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not for every bread. It's especially for this sourdough bread. Yeah. Because it's very thick. So you have to leave it about 24 hours in water the day before, and then dilute it with a spoon actually, and then you can use it straight away for your bread. And it's true that the last analysis that we got, I've got more mineral in this bread than with a normal salt or sodium salt.
So you believe? Yeah. So you had the breads analyzed?
Yeah. We have it. Yeah.
And you saw that the bread made with the Himalayan salt was containing more minerals.
Yeah, because actually I didn't respect the 10 grams also, or the 15 grams of kilo of flour. I put a bit more. And there is an interesting question, because I do understand that probably people saying this salt is not too good for people. And I understand that. But they speak about 18 to 20 gram, for kilo of flour. But I think that we must orientate ourselves about kilo of dough. So we make the calculation. So it's about 1.4 gram from kilo of dough. And this is very different to have 20 gram of flour with a bread that has 100% hydration than 20 gram of salt from flour if you have 50% hydration.
Yeah.
So I think the most important, we made we made 1 gram, 1.2, 1.4 and everything. In flavor, it's not too salty. It's very good actually because the sourdough can express itself. We knew also that with with the experiences that we make at school actually. Before I was working with autolysis. Now I don't work with autolysis, but with fermentolysis, very long fermentolysis, which is sourdough
Oops.
because the salt will definitely change the molecule of the protein enzyme. So the problem is that you cannot put everything at the same time if you want keep your minerals and everything. And it's a bit complex, but I know how to do it, but it's very hard for me to speak in English with it, maybe in Spanish.
But it's fine,
Yeah,
Yohan.
I think you understood.
Besides the salt, you see that this Himalayan salt has a positive impact, but what is the positive impact that the sourdough had on the nutritional values of the bread?
But actually, minerals also, minerals, vitamins also. We also the pH and the Ig also. How Ig is lower, much lower than white full bread. We actually we made we analyze 100% sourdough. We analyze 100% yeast. We analyze yeast and sourdough and different wheats and different concept of fermentation. It was the big surprise for me. It was 100. If you want to speak about nutrition, you must put sourdough in it. There is no other way. I mean, you cannot say that 100% yeast is not good as a bread because it's gonna be a lot of carbohydrate and everything, which is the main source of how bread in every bread anyway. But we passed from in Ig 60 cut in half with sourdough. So when I get interested to Ig, we understand that we don't know that much actually about Ig, but we also see that, so I also see that more the Ig is high, more the pH is high, more sugar you will apparently your body can handle. And I'm not nutritionist, I don't know that much about that, but yeah, and I feel also that myself because 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, before the COVID, I started to gain weight, and I was eating a lot of bread, a lot of bread. Basically, not only bread, but a lot of carbohydrates. And then I stopped to eat like full bread with yeast. My full baguette, I didn't eat it. I start to eat sourdough slowly, and trust me, I had an impact, not on my body, but maybe on my, on my belly. I feel better. Yeah.
You felt less hungry. Yeah. That's one of the things when your glycemic index is lower, you have a better satiety and you don't have these cravings. You don't have this spike of energy, but it's released slowly. That's why sourdough bread is
that's
better
why
than...
I start to make that's why I start to make analysis actually. I always wanted to see. I was very curious about I'm like everybody. I like to watch internet, people saying this and that and everything. So okay, let's do analysis and let's send it and that people can tell me can judge it with number and everything, because I am not a nutritionist, but this is you must use sourdough in not in all the bread, because all the bread cannot be only 100% sourdough. But I do believe that if you want to go on nutrition, sourdough is the main let's say ingredient, the main ecosystem. This is sourdough. There is nothing can beat it. Nothing. Maybe one day we will discover something else, but still the day I think sourdough is the best.
So how do you integrate? How do you integrate the topic sourdough in the curriculum of the school? How did that go? How is that happening?
It was way before coming at school. When the little history is that when I came to Spain in 2007, 2008, there is not that much of people that was using sourdough. I mean, almost nobody. And I bring my sourdough from the Connaught Hotel in London to the bakery that I wanted to work that I worked at. So that give me, because I wanted to go to Miami and everything, but this is another story. And I had to speak Spanish. And after a while, my boss told me I want the bread that my grandfather was making. And it was very, very funny because I understood that actually before, bread was even better than today, because they don't have the technology that we have today. They don't have the cold and everything. But he feels after eating we call it pan de pages here, so it's like a countryside bread. He felt like a bit of acidity and everything, so it was very, very happy about that. And then slowly, I start to bring. I stop working with this group, and I opened my own company, and I was making consulting all around Spain, and I start to introduce a bit sourdough everywhere. And I don't know why, but sourdough has become made a big boom because of home bakers. Home bakers was very interesting about the internet, also internet everything. But as a professional, the professional wasn't used to this. So I said, okay, there is not that much of knowledge about sourdough here. So when I came to school, I start to work 100% sourdough, or bring another way to make bread. Because in the Mediterranean side, maybe you don't know, but bread are more white, more yeasty, and everything. So it was at the beginning, people was watching me like, this guy is doing? These young French guys, what is doing here? And for me was I always say, if you want to give an identity to your bread, use sourdough. Whatever sourdough, of course, with a good process and good wheat. And yeah, the people, after a while, after maybe 1 year or 2 years, they get crazy about sourdough. They say, oh, sourdough is the best, blah blah blah. And now if you are going to Spain, everybody knows what the masa madre is. Everybody is using a masa madre, and sometimes they're using a bit too much. It's my point of view, but it's true that everybody now knows, and I think that the school has been one of the pioneer. Yeah, we share a lot of knowledge about sourdough, how. And you came also. That's why I wanted you to, Carl, to come with us in Spain for 2 or 3 days for this masterclass, because I wanted you to explain actually what sourdough was, and I'm very, very happy about that, and that's it.
Well, I was happy to come. It's always fun to be in
Yeah,
Barcelona.
you're gonna come back
in
anyway.
your school. We will set a new date. We will set a new date.
Yeah.
So how do you stay inspired actually every day in the school? How do you stay inspired? What is for you like a source of inspiration?
With bread, I mean, with sourdough or with other. Let's start by sourdough, because the main. First of all, I do believe that you're always learning. If you're enough passionate, enough curious, there is not one day you cannot learn. Of course, you're gonna have good days, you're gonna have bad days, and the bad days actually are good days, because the frustration of something that you don't know will give you the satisfaction later. So this is my main motivation. I have to make 250 kilo to have one good, let's say. Okay, so to me, I get inspired by everything, with the way, for example, how I can perfectionize the bread, how I can make it more nutritional. So you have a lot of, now you can find everything today. So I start not only the wheat. I use new wheat, old wheat, but I work with a lot of small agriculture, a lot of bakers also. We are very, very, very confident about that. We learn about each other, so that's what keeps me inspiring. I inspire my the inspiration of myself is learn about everybody, give back, and create creativity, because has bread is a discipline. There is no way about that. But creativity means that uh, you are the only person that can bring bread to his top if you really want to. You can use we have thousand and thousand and thousand of solution to make a good bread. We have wheat. We have today we have how you say leguminous.
Legumes.
Yeah, you have legumes. You have a lot of now a lot of spice. You can handle such idea in bread that can be crazy. And if really you want to, you get inspired every day. And that's it. Not only for sourdough, for example, for viennoiserie, the same. For decorating bread is the same. For pierce artisting, I think we are the most lucky people in the world. Baking is probably one of the oldest, let's say, job in the world. To me, it's not a job. To me, it's a passion. But it's also the most complex and the more versatile.
Okay.
So that's why you keep with all these ingredients. How you cannot keep passionate, or how you cannot keep let's say motivated about it. It's just not impossible if you like it, of course.
Yeah. All right, Yohan, that brings us almost to the end of the talk.
Yes.
I will check now with I have little helpers here who have checked if there were any questions left on the different platforms we are streaming on, because we are streaming on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and on Instagram, which is actually not an easy thing to do. It was a bit a challenge, but we are trying to do. We are actually checking today, because on the 18th of October, we will have a special day. On the 18th of October, we are going to celebrate the 10 years of the Sourdough Library. Actually, in October 2013, we inaugurated. We had 43 sourdoughs. Today, we have 142. And next month, I'm going again to pick up 2 new ones. So by the end of the year, we might have 150, 160, or even a bit more. And so we will celebrate. And we will celebrate that by going live on different channels and inviting different people from all over the world. Some will be here with me in the library. Some will be connected like you over the line. So if you want to save the date, ladies and gentlemen, we will go live during different time slots during the day to talk to the people probably in the morning to the east and end with the people in the west late in the evening, so that everyone on that day can celebrate together with us the 10 years of the Sourdough Library. So I'm checking for the questions. I see there is a question about the glycemic index. Was the test? Do you have the information if the test to check the glycemic index was that done in vivo or in vitro?
For the in vivo, it will be very, very hard for us to have it in vivo. So it's gonna be always when you send it in the laboratory, it must be in vitro.
Okay. I must agree with that. We have done a similar thing a couple of years ago together with Professor Marco Gobbetti, and there also we did some in vitro tests on digestibility, and we had done an experiment here with about 15 bakers from all over the world with different sourdoughs, and we checked the breads. It was also done in vitro.
Yeah.
And then
I mean, in vivo will be maybe one day, but it will be very hard actually. No, so it's very very hard. But yeah, in vitro. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the question is not really clear to me, but and what about pulses? So what can you tell us about pulses, I think? So pulses, the legumes, what do they contribute to?
Logically, also it's reduced in the glycemic and will give you much more. Like for example, if you use lentil, how you say lentil?
Lentils.
Yeah, if you use lentil, you're gonna have much more hierro, fer,
Iron.
iron. Yeah, like for example, the wheat and the sourdough. There is, I mean, this is the cereal can bring you a lot of minerals, acido amino, and everything. But vegetables are actually, let's say, legumes actually can push forward. So it's like a complement of nutrition to the wheat.
Okay.
It will complement what you cannot bring. I don't know what's the vegetable you just told me now, or the legumes. Lupus?
Lupin.
Lupin.
Lupin? No, pulses.
Yeah.
Pulses.
Yeah, pulses.
Pulses is another word for the legumes or the legumineux, like you say in French.
Yeah. I think you. The interesting things is that you for all the people that want to use leguminous or legumes, flour legumes inside the sourdough process, you just have to see the components of your vegetables. What can bring those legumes, and then you can introduce it to your bread as a flour, as germinated grain. So it will bring you a lot of profit than actually the cereal cannot go through. That's very interesting. Yeah.
Well, I can maybe add on top of this, if people are really interested to know more about the impact of legumes or pulses in sourdough baking, there is a professor in Rome actually today. His name is Carlo Rizzelli. So if you look for scientific publications of Carlo Rizzelli, it's R-I-Z Rizzelli, Z-E-L-L-I, Carlo Rizzelli. He has done, for me, he's one of the experts when it comes to legumes, the benefit of legumes. Amazing. We see that in these publications, he's explaining that when you use legumes straight in the dough, they bring some nutritional value, but when you first put them in the sourdough and go through a sourdough fermentation, you have an amazing impact on the nutritional benefit. So if you use legumes, it's better to ferment them in your sourdough and later on put them in together with all the remaining ingredients. So, all right, I'm checking if there is any more questions. There is one coming. Okay, it's a question from Jelle. And that's a question to me. He's asking, how old is the oldest sourdough you have in the collection? Which is difficult to say, actually. It's a question I often get. But you have to know that these sourdoughs, they do not come with a birth certificate. And there is no method on earth today existing that can actually tell us how old a sourdough actually is. So we need to trust a little bit on the people. People have information. What I do know is that I have a couple of sourdoughs. I have their sourdough 74 is a sourdough coming from Simplondorf. It's a small village in the mountains in Switzerland. And it's coming from a 6th generation bakery. So they have this sourdough since 1868. But it could be that the sourdough is older than actually the bakery started. But we cannot say that. I have a sourdough from Japan, from Kimuraya Bakery, which opened its doors in 1875. And so, more or less, in in that time frame, this sourdough was created because it was initiated with wheat flour, but the baker didn't like the flavor, and so Mr. Kimura, he switched from wheat to rice, which is interesting. I have one sourdough originating from 1854, where a Basque colony, so coming from Basque, Pays Basque, Baskenland in Spain, France, that area, and they moved to Iceland as whale hunters, and they remained for 150 years in Iceland. And back in 2016, a Canadian woman, Alexis Gertz, the owner of Edible Alchemy, she's now living in Germany. She received that starter called Cornelius that she took back to Germany because this old lady from whom she got it, which in the meantime already passed away, said, listen, I don't have children, would you like to take care of my sourdough? So these are three examples of how old some sourdoughs are, but it could be that they are even older than that. All right, and then I think we are almost running out of time. I'm not gonna capitalize any longer on your time. The questions we did not deal with, we might answer later in the comments. I would like to remind everyone that the date that we will celebrate the Sourdough Library's anniversary is the 18th October 2023. Write it down in your agendas. Take a little reminder in your cell phone or your computer, your agenda, whatever. Yohan,
Yes.
I'm going to thank you. People know where to find you. I just have one last little question for you.
Yes.
For those who would like to have your book, where can they find your book?
Okay, if you are going to my profile on Instagram, you have straight away a link. You click on it. This is Books for Chef. You click on it, and it brings you straight away to the book, and you can order it from here. Straight.
Okay. What you can maybe do is on Instagram, in one of the comments on this live, when we will post it, or I might do it so that people find it even more easy. Because I do recommend the book. I had a little chapter inside talking about Magistral and sourdough in general, which I thank you for giving me that opportunity. So without further ado, I thank you. We will have a next live. There might be one, but might be a bit tricky, but there might be one on the 17th of May next month. And then there will be one on the 21st of June. It's always Wednesday, and we check different time slots. So last time I did it was in the afternoon. This time we do it in the morning. Next time we might do it at midday, or it might be 10 o'clock in the evening. I need to see who is active when and where in which time zone so that I can decide the best time moments to go live on the 18th of October. So you're all a bit my guinea pigs in order to make that celebration amazing. All right? So Yohan, thank you very much for doing this with me. We might do this again in the future, maybe in Spanish, so that we can reach people in South America. We might do it for our friends in France. Who knows that we do it in French? We can do that. So thanks for joining me. Thanks for the invitation again to come to your school. We will have to set a date, but I would like to see you first once back in the library here because we have some unfinished business. No, it's but I would like to have you over again.
And thanks to you, thanks to Carl and to the group. Also, I wanted publicly to say that what you are doing with the sourdough over there is just crazy. I think there is no point of return now. You have to push it more and more. And congratulations for all the team. Thanks for all that biodiversity that you keep in the fridge, that you refresh every single month. And very, very happy to be a part of that. And thank you again. Thank you.
All right. Gros bisous.
Allez, bis.
See
Ciao.
you next time. Thank you everyone for watching and keep it
Ciao,
up.
ciao.
Bye-bye.
Bye.